Hey guys, it's Mike. I'm back doing a vinyl tag today. This one is the, I don't know, official or unofficial vinyl tag for 2025. It's created by Pretty Green Vinyl. His name is Edwin, and he did a great job putting together 20 questions this year. Rob Walker had been doing it for the past few years, and he decided this year to step aside, so Edwin stepped in and did a great job coming up with these questions. And here we go. I'm going to go through these 20, and I'm going to try to answer most of them. There's a couple that I skipped, but I'm going to show some extra records for some of the questions that I did answer, so hopefully that'll make up for it. Let's see, the best purchase. Question number 1, best purchase of 2024, new or old? And I'd have to say this is a splurge that I did for myself right around my birthday. My favorite band, this is one of my favorite albums of theirs, and it's called Sound Dust. It originally came out in 2001. It is a special edition original release. It came out in this gatefold, and it's like this hardcover book kind of cover, and 2 pockets. The records are inside these pockets, and really just heavy duty, nice piece of material here that this is packaged in, and it's autographed by Tim Gain, who's one of the originators of the band Stereolab, and the guitarist for Stereolab. So yeah, this is really awesome. Got this for myself. I had a budget that I was allowed to spend, and came in under the budget, but it definitely was not a cheap present by any stretch. But I love this, and really happy to have it. And yeah, Stereolab, Sound Dust. Next one, 50 years old, the best album from 1974. So, like, I'm not a big fan of music that came out in like the 70s, quite frankly. Just a few bands that I have that put out music in the 70s, but very little. I'm more of an 80s and then 90s and whatever type person when it comes to music. I actually have one record that came out in 1974. So I was supposed to choose the best album from 1974, and I had basically had to settle with the only album that I have from 1974, and that is the self-titled debut album by the band Rush, which was my favorite band back in my kid days, my youth. Yeah, I still love them. But this period, this particular era of their music, the first 4 albums, I wasn't like a huge fan of. If I were to choose any of them, I'd probably pick Fly By Night as the best of their first 4. This album, it's got a couple songs that I like on it. I'm not a huge fan of Working Man, and they play that to death. But this is cool to have. 1974 debut album by Rush. This is on Mercury. It's not the Moon Records original, very expensive, very rare version. It's just on Mercury. So anyway, number 3, an album that defines a genre. Well, my immediate thought was I'd show My Bloody Valentine's Loveless, because it basically is the definition of shoegaze, the shoegaze genre, but I've seen a few people already show that one. So I decided to go with Dead Kennedys' Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables, defining the genre of hardcore punk. I can't really think of anything more iconic for that genre than this album. I love it. Yeah, Dead Kennedys' Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables. People can talk about Black Flag's Damage maybe, but I like this one better. Next one, let's see. Best band from your home country. Well, my home country is here in the United States. It's kind of boring for us Americans because, I don't know. I thought, okay, well, maybe I'd pick a band from where I was born, which is Kentucky, and I couldn't find any band from Kentucky that I was really into. Then I grew up in Florida, and I couldn't think of any bands from Florida. And Arizona is where I live now, and I don't know, I couldn't really count Arizona as my home country, even though I've lived here longer than any other state. So I thought, well, maybe my ancestral country, maybe where my ancestors came from. Where did they, when they came over on the boat, when they immigrated to the United States, where did they come from? And according to Ancestry.com and 23andMe, I was adopted, so I don't have any parents to ask this question. So I did the old DNA test, and they told me I was Scottish. So I'm going to show the best band that I think hails from Scotland, and that would be the Cocteau Twins. They're one of my top favorite bands, probably my second favorite band of all time. And yeah, they're from Grangemouth, Scotland. So yeah, Cocteau Twins. I've never been to Scotland. I've been to Europe a few times, and I need to make it to Scotland next time, now that I know that I'm Scottish. So anyway, Cocteau Twins, this is Bluebell Knoll, their 1988 studio album. Love it. Next one. Let's see. An artist you miss dearly. Well, you know, I'd pick like Prince or Geordie from Killing Joke. There's a lot of people that I could choose. Neil Peart from Rush. But I chose Mary Hansen. She was a kind of vocalist and guitarist for Stereolab for a long period of time, from their early years all the way up until this album. This is the last album that she performed on, Stereolab Sound Dust, 2001. And not long, I saw them in concert on this tour, and Mary was there. And then not long after that tour, she was in London and was riding a bike and was hit by a car, and we lost her. And it's devastating. It's awful. Yeah, so I would say definitely my number one pick for that would be Mary Hansen. We miss her. Yeah. Next one. Let's see. Best live album in my collection. Well, I'll always choose this one. My favorite live album is Exit Stage Left by Rush. It was the live album that mostly encapsulated their their fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth albums. They tended to put out live albums every four studio albums, and this is their second installment, their second live album like that. And it's got most of my favorite Rush songs are on this collection, and were performed during this live performance. Say what you want about the quality of the sound and the fact that they went and re-recorded a bunch of bits and pieces of this to make it sound better. Regardless, I grew up listening to this live album all the time, and I still love it. Luckily, though, when they had the anniversary, whatever was it, 40th anniversary of Moving Pictures, when that happened, they put out like a special edition, and they put out the live. It's called Live in YYZ 1981, and it's basically the full-length concert of that tour, the Moving Pictures tour. And of any tours, that would be the tour that I would love to have been at. I didn't go to that concert, unfortunately, but this is a 4-record set of that of the set list of what they would have played during the Moving Pictures tour. I guess this is all the recordings were done in Toronto. For this 4-record special edition set or whatever. So I would say that this is now my favorite live recording. It sounds a lot better, a lot clearer than the Exit Stage Left, and it's got even more of my favorite songs on it than the previous Exit Stage Left version. So yeah, awesome. Favorite live album. Next one. Your partner just dumped you. What album are you putting on? I was kind of surprised. Like, a lot of people picked like sad music, and I have a feeling like if that were to happen to me, hypothetically, of course, I don't even want to think about that happening. But if it did, I'd want to listen to like uplifting music. I want to kind of turn my frown upside down, as they say. So I'd want to listen to something that makes me happy and gets me, puts a little, I don't know, pep in my step kind of deal. So I was thinking like hardcore punk would be what I listened to if I was dumped. And so stuff like Bad Brains, Rock for Light would definitely get my juices flowing and make me in a better mood. And something like circle jerks would do the same, would have the same effect on me. So kind of lighthearted. Well, Bad Brains isn't lighthearted. This is more lighthearted than that. But just really just aggressive hardcore punk would definitely make me feel better. So those are my choices. Not sad music. I wouldn't listen to sad music. I tend to listen to sad music when I'm in a good mood. That's weird. I don't know. Let's see. Best sounding drums on an album. Well, I kind of went back and forth a lot with this, but I think that the drums on this album, Stuart Copeland's drums on this Police album, Ghost in the Machine, I think sound amazing. I love Stuart Copeland is just he's one of my favorite drummers, and he's just so awesome on this album. His cymbal work is just fascinating to me. I just love listening to it. His performance on Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, I love that. And just recently, Drumeo, I think it's a page on my Facebook, and they put out videos of different people playing drums to whatever, doing covers of whatever song, showing you what Neil Peart does or what whoever does on the drums, kind of showing you little tutorials, I guess, on drumming. And they put out a video of actually Stuart Copeland in the studio recently, and he did Can't Stand Losing You, and then he did Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. And I just love watching him up close perform on his little drum kit, performing that song. And he's just awesome. So I would say definitely Ghost in the Machine is fantastic if you love listening to excellent drummers. The sound quality is just really good. It's really clear. Another drummer that I love, and if you love like a lot of really heavy drums, Budgie, the drummer for Susie and the Banshees, and of course there's Susie. This is a little side project they did called The Creatures, and this is their first album called Feast. And the drums on this sound absolutely amazing, just shaking the walls, kind of just awesome. So Budgie with The Creatures, I would recommend that. And then the last one that I would choose for this, Interpol, kind of an unheralded, underrated drummer, Sam Fogarino. I have it spelled, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Anyway, I love his drumming. I've seen them live a couple times, and I love like just focusing on him and the way he plays his drums. The songs NYC and Hands Away on this album, both those songs, just amazing, just awesome. I love how those drums sound on that. Just excellently recorded, and he's just a fascinating drummer to me. Very understated, not flashy at all, kind of a workman's kind of drummer, but he's just awesome. I love his performances on this album. Turn on the Bright Lights by Interpol, and the songs again, NYC, which is my favorite song of theirs, and Hands Away, just love it. So anyway, that would be my the best sounding drums on an album. That was number 8. Number 9, favorite artist that is in 2 or more bands. Well, this will always be the case. Always be my favorite. Daniel Ash, the guitarist from Bauhaus. This is an early EP by them, and there's Danny right there in the white t-shirt. So he's the guitarist for Bauhaus. And then his second project, Tones on Tail, my favorite of his projects, and there he is right there, Daniel Ash. And he played drums and sang. He did all the vocals. Some of these have some of their recordings have instrumentals, but when they did sing, it was Daniel Ash. I love his vocals. I'm much more of a Daniel Ash vocal fan than Peter Murphy from Bauhaus. And then his third project, Love and Rockets. There he is right there. Daniel Ash, guitar and saxophone sometimes, and vocals. David J. also, here he is on bass. He also does vocals for Love and Rockets, but Daniel Ash is my favorite of the vocalists. So yeah, Daniel Ash, three separate bands. He also does solo stuff. He did a tour with a group called Pop Tone where he did covers of all those bands. He's got a new project called Diamonds and Ashes, which hasn't materialized yet, but they keep teasing that there's an album or music coming out at some point. He's got solo work, so Daniel Ash, totally awesome. One of my favorites. Next question, number 10, Beatles or Stones? I'll pick the Beatles, for sure. Although I did see the Stones this past year, so, but the Beatles weren't touring, but I did see the Stones, and it was a great show. I loved it. But I would, if I had to choose, I would choose the Beatles. And I'm more of a McCartney fan than a John Lennon fan, just in case you wondered. You found a bag of weed. What are we going to listen? What are you going to listen to? God, this is, I don't partake anymore. I admit I did back in the day. And back in the 80s or whatever, the kind of, the typical band that people would choose would be Pink Floyd. And I think, why are you wasting your time on, I love Pink Floyd, but why would you waste your buzz on Pink Floyd when you've got music like the Butthole Surfers? This is fantastic. Hairway to Steven, my favorite album of theirs. This is just wild. This will expand your mind. I think you can feel stoned listening to this album without even needing the weed. It makes you feel stoned for sure. I love this. This is more for if you want something really like out there, crazy, wild. You want that kind of an experience. Butthole Surfers, absolutely. And kind of in that same vein, I would also say this band, Helios Creed. This is their album Lactating Purple, my favorite of their albums, or his albums. Helios Creed is the name of a person, but it's the band, whatever. Helios Creed is like, it's kind of like the Butthole Surfers and Black Sabbath, but from outer space. So there's kind of that element added to it. Fantastic, love this. Definitely highly recommend in this particular situation. Helios Creed. And then if you wanted something a little bit more like lighter and more mellow or whatever, not like, the music is very heavily layered and it's very intense, but it's also like more laid back and not crazy wild like the Butthole Surfers. And it's this band out of England called Leica. And just really heavy instrumentation, lots of percussion, drums, but like lots of percussion, and lots of crazy noodly bass, really intense rhythm sections going on, lots of far out like synthesizers and like tape effects and noises, sound effects, recorded kind of bits and clips and stuff mixed in there. Just lots of noises and layers, and you just lose yourself in this music. And the singer, Margaret, her voice is very soft and soothing, and it just makes for a really great experience. Definitely recommend. This is the Sound of the Satellites, their second full-length album. Highly recommend it. Any one of their records would be great, but I recommend this one the most for that kind of situation you might find yourself in. So yeah, those are my three answers. Let's see. What's the next one? Album from the 80s that you still listen to. I listen to a ton of 80s music, like all the time, but I'll pick these two just to mix it up a little bit. Kate Bush's Hounds of Love. I love this album from start to finish, not just Running Up That Hill, but the whole album front to back is just absolutely top notch. I love it. Kate Bush, Hounds of Love. And then the other one that I would choose, there's a whole bunch I would choose. I could go through 50 records that I would recommend, but I'm just picking these two. XTC's Skylarking. Love this album, again, start to finish. It's a masterpiece. I love it. XTC. Next one. An artist, this is number 13. An artist whose political stance you've soured on. I think he's always kind of been an asshole. I don't think it's something that I just recently soured on. I think he's just always been a real prick. But yeah, that's Morrissey. A lot of people pick him, but I mean, it's just the obvious choice, especially, you know, in my frame of mind, I would definitely always pick him as the top one. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate he's like a vegan and he's an activist as far as that regards, and I respect all that. But his political stuff, I can't deal. So Morrissey. I think Johnny Marr is far better of a human being. Let's see. Show a favorite record label. Well, I'm wearing it. 4AD. I wore the shirt for that particular question. And I'm just going to show a few bands just to give you an idea of who's on the 4AD label. It's a label out of England. Ivo Watts Russell was the name of the guy who ran it. Let's see, Bauhaus was on the 4AD label for a while. This is the Telegram Sam EP, so like their early stuff was on 4AD. See the 4AD, really old 4AD label right there. Belly, Tanya Donnelly from Throwing Muses, her little side project. They were on 4AD. Blonde Redhead, who I just saw in concert just not too long ago. They spent a period of time on 4AD. I think they put out like 3 or 4 albums on 4AD. So yeah, Blonde Redhead. The Breeders, Kim Deal's little band. I think Tanya Donnelly was on this album, but it's mainly Kim Deal's project. The Breeders, The Pod, produced by Steve Albini, 4AD Records. Clan of Zymox, fantastic, especially the first 2 albums, 4AD. Cocteau Twins, I talk about them all the time. They were on 4AD up until like their last 2 albums. Yeah, Cocteau Twins, Treasure. 1984. Dead Can Dance, Spleen and Ideal is their second full-length album, 4AD. They were on 4AD for quite a while. Lush are on 4AD. I think all 4 of their albums, or their 3 studio albums plus Gala, all on 4AD Records. Lush, fantastic. That was Split, that was their 3rd album. Pale Saints, fantastic, love this album. I'm not sure if they were always on 4AD, but at least this album, their first couple albums at least I know were on 4AD. Pale Saints, In the Comfort of Madness. Love it, great album. Of course, the Pixies. Monkey's Gone to Heaven and Doolittle. Fantastic. Whenever I look at this album cover, I think Monkey's Gone to Heaven, and for whatever reason, my stupid brain says that that's the name of the album when I know it's Doolittle. I don't know, I just see the monkey and I think Monkey's Gone to Heaven. Anyway, Pixies, Doolittle, fantastic. Even my favorite band put out a record on 4AD. Just this one album, Chemical Chords, was put out on 4AD Records, so that's pretty cool. Throwing Muses, I mentioned them before. Tanya Donnelly was a former member. Love Throwing Muses, and they were on 4AD for quite a while. Wolfgang Press, who just put out a new album recently. Their early stuff was all on 4AD Records. So yeah, Wolfgang Press, love them. I think that's it for my little show and tell for 4AD, but yeah, that's my favorite record label. A run of great singles. A lot of people were like showing stuff like the same band, but like singles that spanned like several albums. I'm just going to show one album and all the singles that came from this one amazing album. And of course, you know, Prince, Purple Rain. I've got one of the singles in my hands that I bought back when it came out, Let's Go Crazy, with the B-side Erotic City, which is actually even a better song than the A-side. Yeah, that was like, this Let's Go Crazy was the second single released. The first one was When Doves Cry. I remember when that video came out and I'm like, oh, this is new Prince. Cool, decent song. Let's Go Crazy was, I think, a bigger hit and a better song, I think, in my opinion. And then after that came out, Purple Rain was the next single. So that's the third single. The fourth single was actually Erotic City, was released as a single. So that's the fourth. And then the fifth single was I Would Die For You. And the sixth single was Take Me With You. All of them just absolutely fantastic songs. So that was just an amazing run of singles, all from one album. Prince was amazing. Let's see. RSD purchase that you consistently listen to. I'll say this one, although I will admit, this is Cocteau Twins, their final album, Milk and Kisses. This was released on the 2017 RSD on Mercury Records. It was a special edition, 2-record set on white vinyl. It had the entire studio album, plus it had a bonus single version of the song Tish Bite, and then 5 B-sides. So it had a bunch of bonus stuff, which is really cool to have on vinyl. I did not buy this in 2017 at that RSD. I was not buying vinyl at that time. I didn't really start buying vinyl until right around the pandemic. So I had to order this, special order it, and paid probably a lot more than I would have obviously a lot more than I would have if I had bought it record store day. So, but I do listen to this album quite a bit. I love this album, and it's grown on me more and more over the years. And the fact that it has 5 B-sides, all really excellent songs in and of themselves, is really awesome. Nice little bonus. So, Cocteau Twins. Next one. You can be reincarnated as any artist. Who would it be? I'm skipping that one. I don't want to be anybody else, quite frankly. Musicians tend to lead like tortured lives, and I don't know. I don't, just let me go off into the black whatever that I'm going to be heading towards, and I'll be totally okay with that. And I don't know if I want to come back as somebody else, you know. I don't know. That's just weird to me. I don't know. To me, that just, I don't want to be somebody else. I don't want to be in some other guy's skin, you know. It just feels strange to me. So I'm just going to skip that one. Best 3 lines in a song. I always joke about this with Courtney. She's like heavily into lyrics, song lyrics, their meaning, all that kind of stuff. I'm not really into lyrics. Like, I don't really care what they're singing about. I listen to bands like Cocteau Twins and Dead Can Dance where you can't even like understand what they're singing. But and then Stereolab, most of their stuff's in French. I don't understand what she's singing about. I just really love the music, and I love the voice as an instrument more than anything. So I'm skipping this one too, because I don't really have any like lines of lyrics that I've, you know, always been my favorite lyrics growing up or whatever. I just, you know, I listen to like Rush, and their lyrics are kind of, I don't know. I guess they're cool like if I was, you know, 15 years old. But yeah, I'm going to skip that one. Sorry. Next one. We're at number 19, an album you never tire of. Well, that's a lot of them, and a lot of 80s stuff too, but I'll pick Violator. I listen to this one still a lot. I listen to it on Spotify in the car and stuff. It just sounds fantastic, and it never sounds old. It never sounds dated. It doesn't sound like an 80s, or even though it came out in 1990. You know, it just doesn't have that old 20-some, 30-some year old kind of feel to it. It sounds modern. It just sounds awesome. I love this album, so I picked this one. Then the very last question on this tag: share your favorite VC channel. Well, there's a bunch. I got a lot that I really enjoy, and I'll just rip through. I'll go through like the newer ones, and then the veteran ones. And they're not really new, but new to me, I guess. I've been around for 3 years or so on the VC, so they're just kind of newish, I guess. They're not like the old veteran people, and you'll see what I mean. So Omaha introvert Hannah, I consider her one of the, you know, fresher faces on the VC. Embryonic Robot Brian, fantastic, up in Canada. PC31, the vinyl policeman, super nice guy, Mike, love him. Moni Muse, we've been talking back and forth. She's great. Just really just shows such a enthusiasm about music and getting into new bands and all that stuff. I always enjoy watching her videos. And then a new one to me also, Poetic Wax, Andy. It used to be Fence Post something or other, but now it's Poetic Wax, and Andy's great. He's got a great, I really enjoy his taste in music, quite frankly. He's got a great taste in music, a lot of enthusiasm, knows a lot about stuff, the history of these bands and records and stuff, and he goes to a lot of shows, and I just really enjoy his stuff. So, and then Todd the Mod, he's out in the west side of Phoenix. I live on the east side, but he's into a lot of 80s stuff, so I really, you know, enjoy watching his videos showing like a lot of 80s bands and stuff. So Todd's great. And then the veterans, Steve Carlson, Vinyl Richie, Harris Pilton, and Vinyl Douche. All those channels, I really enjoy watching those. They've been around for a lot longer than me. But those are kind of and I'm sure I left a lot of people out that I shouldn't have, but those are like the main ones that I've been enjoying for quite a while, and consistently great channels. So anyway, thanks for watching this. It's kind of getting dark, and it's one of my darker videos. Hopefully y'all can see everything. Yeah, it's gonna be just a few more days till Christmas. I'm gonna do one more tag, the vinyl tag Redux or whatever. He did like a kind of a reaction kind of vinyl tag to this vinyl tag that I just did, and I'm going to do that one too. It looks pretty good. The questions they're kind of retread questions from the past few years and all bundled up in kind of a best of, so I'll do that one. And then yeah, and then we got Christmas coming up real soon, and I'll do a video where I show all the records that I got for Christmas, all the gifts, and some of the vinyl finds that I've gotten since then, including a $2 record that I was really kind of. I don't usually buy records that are $2. Usually the kind of music that I buy, the holes that I'm trying to fill and stuff, usually they don't come for that cheap. So whenever I find something that cheap, it's just really kind of out of the ordinary, I guess. So yeah, I'll show all that stuff in one of the next 2 videos. So anyway, thanks for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. Love you guys, and I will see you all real soon. All right, love you. Bye.